Welcome everybody to the Latte podcast. Now this is a very special episode in which we are going to be talking about the differences between divorce coaching and therapy. And here to join us, we have the lovely Camille, who is a divorce coach. And we are going to be breaking this down. So obviously finding what gets you through divorce is a very personal journey. And I know I joke about rom-coms, but there's a lot to be said for snuggling up with Netflix with a bit of Bridget Jones during hard times, okay? So, however, on that note, Camille, maybe you could tell us a little bit more about your journey and what led you to become a divorce coach.
Of course. So I divorced about 5 years ago now. What I found, it was so traumatic, and my divorce was amicable, but I was crying every day. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep. And I'm not sure if I've told you this, but my divorce happened before no fault
was in
place. So you had to give a reason. And the judge actually rejected our divorce, saying it was too amicable.
Wow.
Yeah. My solicitor had never seen anything like it. So I remember going,
that is crazy. And it goes to show how far we've come, because to go from there's no good reason for you to divorce, actually you don't even need a reason now. Whoa. So that is incredible.
Yeah, so we were told we couldn't divorce, and I remember calling my solicitor up, crying down the phone, and she's not trained to help me. She didn't know what to say. And at the back of my head, I was thinking, how much is this costing me, all this crying down the phone? Right. And I remember when finally I divorced him, it took 3 years, and we were amicable. This is the crazy thing. We had agreed everything prior, but it was in the middle of lockdown, and there was a massive backlog. So when I saw the opportunity to train and to help people, I didn't hesitate. Absolutely, I want to do this. This will be one of the 2 jobs that I want to do.
That is crazy. It's funny how the universe works like that. Sometimes things just lead you on a path and when this is it. You get that feeling, right? So
that's it.
So obviously divorce coaching and therapy, a lot of people get these kind of terms mixed up, and it's easy to do. And it's very easy for someone to not sort of understand the differences and reach out to a coach or a therapist, and it actually could be not really understanding what they're choosing. Do you know what I mean? So with regards to looking at the differences, what would you say are the big differences between coaching and therapy?
So I've also had a lot of therapy like yourself, Ash, and
we've chatted a lot before this podcast. Yeah.
And I've also, I had coaching done before, life coaching.
Yeah.
So I do understand. And I also know that there's also counselling that comes into play as well, which is a different qualification from therapy.
Right. Okay.
In between. Yeah. So coaching, you focus on the present and the future and how to move forward. You're dealing with daily life, whereas therapy, you're looking into the past and trauma, childhood trauma, for example, and seeing how that's affecting your current life.
Yeah. See, I think this is the thing, because as you said, I have experienced coaching and therapy, and I think that's why I understand the difference. Whereas before, I might have assumed they were quite similar, having gone through the process with a coach and with a therapist, and being very much coaching helped, whereas therapy for me, and it's not for everyone, didn't. It almost felt like for me it was just pouring salt into wounds, and it was just kind of not helping, whereas I found coaching more constructive, which is how I guess some people's brains work. So when it actually comes to putting it in the context of divorce though, what would you say are some signs for, say some people are going through divorce, what would you say is a sign that they would be more inclined to benefit from a therapist to start with? So what are some things that therapy can help with specifically in the context of divorce?
I think it can help maybe with looking into your past and so you don't repeat the same mistakes, you learn to communicate better. But I having had my training as a coach and seeing the changes that can bring to people going through a divorce, even in their lives, future lives, I'm a big believer in divorce coaching.
Yeah.
There are some incredible tools that you can use in any life experiences, whether you're having problems with a business partner, which I did go through this, and these tools helped me quite a lot. And a divorce coach is trained just on people going through divorces. The transition is the biggest life transition, and you are going through you are going to be grieving. So you have all these tools and techniques and exercise that you can do that can specifically help you for this life transition, which you don't get in therapy.
No, I hear you, and I believe that for me, I found coaching very empowering, and it made me feel strong. And I feel especially when you're going through divorce, you feel very vulnerable, and you feel like, we were sort of discussing this a little bit earlier, it's like there's a lot of stigma language around divorce, and it's like, okay, the messaging is let's stop divorce being a stigma, but it's still the same messaging is kind of like making it more of a stigma, so you feel part of it, and then that can affect your confidence, your self-belief. Whereas I feel like coaching is like, it transitions you from feeling like a victim to actually, what you said something earlier, and I forget what it is, and it's like something about like how turning into divorce is like a new chapter, a new
rebirth.
That was it, a rebirth. And I love that, and I feel like coaching guides you towards that place.
Yeah, starting afresh and a new life, and trying to see something positive in the future, as opposed to just seeing a dark hole and not knowing how to move forward. And I think therapy doesn't necessarily help you. It can, but it doesn't necessarily, that's not what is planned from therapy. I think, you just focus more on the past. That's what I've learned anyway. I've actually done a foundation course in psychotherapy, so I do have some sort of understanding, and I've done cognitive behavioral therapy, and that's been brilliant for me. It's helped me a lot.
I love that about you though, and I feel like that probably empowers you to help your clients, because you've been there in the trenches, you've been through divorce, you've experienced all these things. You're not just, talking about it, you've been there and experienced it, and I think that is very, very powerful. So for anyone that's watching today who might need to speak to you or reach out to you, Camille, what is the best way for people to connect with you?
Hi, so you can find me on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook and TikTok, Camille Divorce Coach. I've got a website as well, Camille Divorce Coach, and I have a Divorce SOS app, an app to help you deal with the emotional roller coaster of divorce. And I've also got a book called Divorce SOS Handbook to help you deal with the early stages of divorce.
Amazing. And you will be seeing more of Camille on the podcast, because there's so many other top conversations that we're going to be having. So we are just scratching the surface today. So thanks for joining, everybody. Do reach out if you have any questions. And of course, if there's any topics that you would like us to cover in a future episode. Thank you.